if you want to win the whole split, you need to beat the best.
We play today G2 is a hard opponent. I think we can win.
Move and Vizjachi work very well together. Is their strongest point.
They have that aggressive playstyle.
Move owns himself in and Splice just gets shredded.
Can easily snowball in the game or can backfire and lose in the game completely.
I think if it comes down to 2v2, we will go even.
I think they have a really good early game, and after early game, we are a much stronger team.
We have to go final and go win LCS.
So it would mean a lot to get to the finals and beat G2.
I will just roll over everyone.
Hello and welcome to Berlin, Germany for our second semi-final of the EU LCS Summer Split Playoffs. Tonight it is the top of the table powerhouse G2 facing off against the magical underdogs, the Unicorns of Love. Everyone's set for all the action today. And hello, I'm EpicSkillshot supporter, joined tonight at the analyst desk by Mitch Kreppel Voorspoels, Martin Reckless Larsen, and Jonas Trashy Anderson. Actually, they switched it up. This is actually Trashy first and then Reckless. I have to say, a very well-dressed and knowledgeable desk here. Thank you for joining us again, Reckless, and congratulations, Trashy.
Thank you. It's hard to not smile today.
Yeah, of course it is. Fantastic performance of Splice as they went all the way to 5 games yesterday and took down H2K in a back-and-forth slugfest. Wonder was our MVP. He had a fantastic series with you guys. Can you explain a bit more to us how much he actually meant for your team in those games?
I mean, so basically we decided to pick Nar early with Shen out, and we felt like they couldn't really pick anything that would just hard counter Nar, and we decided that in a lot of cases kind of abandon bottom lane and play hard on snowballing Wonder, and I feel like he just, we gave him a lead and he just took over the game, and that is the kind of player you want to have on your team. So I'm happy that I could give him the lead and then he just took over the game.
And you guys won, and in terms of Worlds qualifications, that means if we look at your scenario, you can win the split or win the gauntlet, but you're in the final, and if you come in second and H2K loses their third place match, you guys also qualify on points. So after playing them, do you think they can still trump whatever team they meet in that third place match or not?
I think if they prepare well and they still have, they didn't, let's say nothing happened internally and they are not having any grudges after the loss, etc. I think they can easily win third place. But you never really know with H2K, right? They could easily go on a tilt fest and then we know what happens, right? So
What happens?
What happens then?
I can't really go into details, but yeah. So that is what I hope for, because if they go fourth, then we will go to Worlds either way. So yeah, we will see what happens. I'm excited. Honestly, I just can't wait to play in Krakow and play on such a big stage again. It's such a insane feeling when you go on a big stage.
Yeah, and possibly going to the bigger stage. Talking about other Worlds 2016 news, the Flash Wolves qualified today, a couple of hours ago, through the LMS finals. And Korea's Rocks Tigers, they took down KT in the LCK Summer Finals yesterday, meaning that the reigning world champions SKTT won. They will also go to Worlds, and the curse is broken. That is shaping up to be an impressive field. What do you guys make of it? Reckless, possibly some of your opponents in Worlds.
I mean, hopefully.
Hopefully, for you.
At Worlds. I guess we'll see about that in a couple of weeks. But yeah, I mean, I watched the LMS finals this morning, and Flash Wolves looked really strong. Especially Karsa is one of my favorite players to watch, and I just think he's like really sick to play with as well, because when we were bootcamping in Korea, he was always in my games and he was always doing well and always tryharding, and I just feel that's like really inspiring to see from a player like his caliber.
Yeah, and here in Europe, there are, of course, still 2 spots left to give out for those World contention. G2 has already got their spot. And for the Unicorns of Love, they cannot make it on points in any scenario. So they have to win the final, so win today here and win the final, or they have to run through the gauntlet to make it.
Yeah, but even if they win right now, hypothetically, it's a long shot. They still get a better seeding in the gauntlet should they then fail to make or win the finals overall, you know, and that's super important because it just means one less best of 5. One less best of 5 where you give away a lot of information. Reckless, you guys already started to think about the gauntlet because you probably have a pretty like uphill climb there.
Yeah, I mean, by the looks of it, we'll probably play 2 best-of-5s, and just 1 is already a tough challenge, and 2 is not going to be anything easier. And I think pretty much all the teams that's in the gauntlet are like tough to beat, especially from the point of view we're in right now, with us losing like pretty much every game for the past 3 weeks or something. So I think it's going to be really tough for us to like get our way through it. But at the same time, I feel like the series, as I mentioned yesterday against H2K, learned us a lot of valuable things. So I think we will be a stronger team going to the gauntlet, and we will have more of a realistic approach on how we want to play the game, rather than just doing whatever the meta wants us to do, and probably give the teams that we're going to face a better shot.
I also don't think, like, just looking at the gauntlet in the past, like we saw C9 last year and we saw Rocket, where they started pretty early in the gauntlet and had a really good run where they had a lot of momentum going into the gauntlet. So I don't think just because you have a really good seed in gauntlet just makes it 10 times easier. I feel like the momentum in gauntlet also really matters in those kind of best-of-5s.
Yeah, the gauntlet or a regional qualifier, but we dub it the gauntlet after Krakow. That will happen, and I feel like it's incredibly stacked this year around. It's not like there's one clear victor. But for now, we're going to dive into our semifinal, because that's why we're here today. Our playoffs, the Unicorns of Love versus G2 Esports. And I think we can all agree that the Unicorns of Love are humongous underdogs going into this matchup. There's not a lot of people that are pegging them to win, and that is of course also how we prepared this match coming into it, and we took a look at where the Unicorns of Love might find a way to tilt the matchup in their favor. And the first thing I want to look at with you guys is Vizicachi versus Expect in the top lane, especially yesterday with Smeb, Impact, and Wonder really pulling games towards them. How much of an impact on pure skill level will this have, Reckless?
Well, I think one thing to mention going into the 6:15 patch is that the top lane and bot lane aren't scripted roles anymore. You cannot just play this 10-minute pattern every single game, and you can't hide like a bad player, you know. And I think, for example, Expect is one of those players that haven't been up there together with his teammates throughout the split, and he might actually get exposed today against Vizicachi, who has actually shown that he can do it in the quarterfinal against Giants. So I think that's probably going to be where they have to put emphasis to win this series, because putting your jungle bot lane against Sven and Mithy and Trick, it's just not going to work out, you know. You have to put it top side and you have to force Trick to get there, and then maybe you can tilt it in your favor and win a couple of games. I'm not sure, but I would definitely put my emphasis there.
The money on Vizicachi.
For sure. He has to play out of his mind if they want to win today, and he did that last series against Giants, so it's definitely possible, and he has to play so good. I think that's the only way to win.
If you would be moved today, Trashy, would you go for the top camp, which is kind of predictable, or would you go for like a cheeky like level 2 or level 4 gank in mid and try and tilt perks?
The way I approach the game is I'm not gonna look at the game and be like, oh, if we don't snowball top, it's lost. We play around what picks we have, and that should always be your goal. And if your goal is to snowball bot, then you should play around that you have a stronger bot lane and play around this. But obviously, in this case, it might be different for him.
Is it enough for the Unicorns, though? Or do they need to do, like, do they need, like, not... I don't like calling it cheese, but I like more like playing outside of the book, because if Unicorns, okay, their draft dictates that they need to play around mid, for example, but then G2 is a team that is actually much better. They will just predict this. Does that move need to, like, vary it up entirely and go for some, like, special moves, or does he play standard and hope to win?
I think I would start it out by playing standard and just see how it goes. And if you feel like in the series that you need to do something cheesy, then you will do something cheesy, and then you will see how that works. But you can't just go into the series and see, we will only cheese to win. That is not really how you should approach the game. So I'm interested to see, but as I've seen in the past, he will play the top side and he will try to snowball, and that is probably going to be determined if they will win or not.
I heard you guys mentioning possibly tilting perks. That's also a matchup that we looked at where there might be an in if Exile plays out of his mind and he played a good quarterfinal. Is there an in there for the Unicorns of Love, or is that a bit far-fetched?
I mean, I think it's just a fine matchup. Like both players are good, so I wouldn't like feel the need of putting my jungle in the mid lane. I think it's actually something you can use to your winning condition if like the draft allows you to.
But the tilt?
Yes and no. I think that's also more of a meme than anything else.
Yeah.
The only reason I say this because like
yeah, I know. I understand. But I wouldn't like see it as a winning condition, you know, to tilt perks. But obviously, if the matchup is actually in your favor, I think it's actually something you can play towards, because Exile is the player that can use the advantage to his favor in the long run as well.
I think it's important that Perks doesn't pick Asia or Rice, then I think he should be fine.
Yeah, we saw him in the dressing room. That's why he's asking who was casting. He's like, oh crap, I was on analyst desk. I have to try hard because else he's gonna flame me again. So yeah, Perkovic is ready to carry the series.
Yeah, and Perkovic also said in the video there, I will roll over everyone. And Trick said, well, we have to go to the finals if we want to win the LCS split, and there's nothing to do.
Good logic.
with that. We see that the players there, they're almost ready to get into the lobby, which gives us a chance to repeat what Perk said last week, that they're going to win 3-1. And let's for a second focus on G2. Obviously, Unicorns of Love are the underdogs, but you guys, as having played versus G2 now an entire split, what separates them from the pack? How good are they, and why are they so good?
I don't know. It's like everything at once almost, because it feels like they have the individual player skill and they play really well together. It's just really weird because you don't find a way to like expose them. You know, I think if anything, the way you expose them is that you wait for their mistakes, because they usually overcommit to situations when they don't have to. And I think UL is actually one of the teams that play really aggressive, at least judging of scrims and in the quarterfinals. So if they're just patient and they don't go for this cheese tactic, as you said, like in the first games, I think they can actually just wait for a mistake to come out of G2's side. But at the same time, like, they have the individual player skill, and on this patch, it's gonna matter a lot. You know, when you have a bot lane like Sven and Mithy and a jungle like Trick, the pressure bot side is gonna be immense, and I'm not sure if they can keep their stance together yet.
From what I've seen from G2, I actually think that usually they actually play a kind of slow early game. I mean, we all love the unicorn chance, right?
Yeah, Trick does as well, apparently.
So they actually play a kind of slow early game, and they go for consistent plays more than they did in the past. And I think that is kind of why we in Splice and G2 has kind of separated us, because we tend to go more on consistency, and that is what they have for them going into this. But I definitely think that unicorns can challenge them early game with going for a hyper aggressive plays. So that is what I'm gonna look out for sure from unicorns.
Well, the players are ready, and even though I know the answer, I'm gonna ask for your predictions and also the series numbers. By how much?
I mean, 3-1, because Vizicachi will carry one game.
I mean, I said it in the Facebook Live that it was gonna be 3-1 to G2, so I kind of have to go with that, right?
That respect one game for the unicorn.
3-0, just in case.
Just in case.
Just to be right.
Yeah.
All right, we will see what happens. The players are gearing up for picks and bans, but before we head over to the casters, G2's Perks tells us what he expects from his mid lane opponent, Exile.
I think I can compare his playstyle a bit to mine, from mine in Spring Split at least, because he tries to play those carry champs or aggressive champs, tries to make aggressive plays. I think his aggression is sometimes called like stupid aggression. It goes for dumb plays. Even if he gets a kill or something, the reward is 0, and it's just too high risk for too low reward. So I think he's exploitable player, but no means he's bad. I think he's pretty strong mechanical player, and he will not be an easy opponent.
We're going to see what happens when they go